I was just filling up my car. Chevron off Route 14. Same one I'd been stopping at for years. Grabbed a coffee, came out, and there he was, sitting against the side wall, worn-out jacket, gray in his beard, holding a styrofoam cup like it weighed 50 pounds. At first, I didn't recognize him. I mean, it had been 25 years, but you never forget your father's face. Even when it disappears from your life, it sticks somewhere in your mind, in the shape of your jaw, the angle of your nose, the way your hands look when they're tired. It was him, my father, the man who left me when I was 7, sitting on a sidewalk with nothing but a coffee cup and eyes that looked empty. I still remember the night he left. No screaming, no slamming doors, just this weird silence, like the house itself knew what was happening before I did. He stood in the kitchen, staring at the floor. Mom was doing the dishes, not saying a word. He reached for his keys, didn't even look at her, didn't look at me. I was sitting on the steps, holding a toy dinosaur. I didn't know what was happening, just that something was leaving, something I needed. He walked out, and that was it. After that night, I stopped asking questions, stopped asking where he went, why he didn't call, why no birthday cards showed up, why my mom cried in the laundry room when she thought I couldn't hear her. I learned quick. Some holes don't get filled. Some people leave and take the language of love with them, and all you're left with is guesswork. School plays? He wasn't there. Graduation? Nope. Prom? College? I started calling myself fatherless, like it was a badge. But deep down, man, it still burned. You know what's funny? You grow up thinking you're fine. You tell people, I don't care. He was just a sperm donor. I turned out okay. But then you look at the way you pull back when people get close. The way you flinch at compliments, the way you expect every good thing to leave you, and you realize the scar's still there. You just got real good at hiding it. In 5th grade, we had to draw our family tree. Everybody else had these huge branches, cousins, aunts, 2 parents. I had a stick figure and a question mark. I asked my teacher what to do. She said, "That's okay. Some trees grow sideways." I didn't get it back then, but now I do. So there I was, 32 years old, married, decent job, kids of my own, and here he was, sitting like a ghost that had finally decided to show itself. No warning, no apology, just sitting there. Same eyes, same hands, same man who taught me how to throw a baseball and then disappeared before I ever learned how to catch one. My heart was thumping, not out of anger, but something worse, that ache you get when you see the person who broke you, and you realize you still want something from them. A sorry, a why, a look, anything. I stood there, frozen, didn't know whether to walk up and punch him or just sit beside him. I never thought I'd see him again. not alive, not like this, and definitely not looking up at me like a stranger. But here's the truth. No one tells you. Even after all the years, even after the damage, there's still a kid inside you that just wants their dad to say, "I'm sorry I left." I didn't walk up to him that first time. I just froze. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking, like I was the one in danger. He looked old, tired, not just in the way people age, but like life had dragged him across every sharp edge and left him hollow. Same eyes, though. That never changes. You know your father's eyes, even after 25 years. I stood there with a coffee in my hand, and the kid inside me screamed, "Say something. Ask him why. Ask him why he left you, man." But I didn't. I got in the car, and I left. Again. After that day, I couldn't escape him, but something inside me snapped that day. Like a dam finally cracked open. I'd been living my life like that wound had healed. Nice job. Good wife. Little house with a fence. People thought I had it together. But it turns out, you can't build peace on a foundation of silence. For days, I couldn't sleep. I'd stare at the ceiling, thinking of all the things I never got to say. The rage, the grief, the goddamn questions. Where did you go? Did you ever think about me? Do you even know what you left behind? I don't know why I opened the garage that night. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just pacing. That's when I saw the box. It was shoved behind a water heater, duct-taped, dusty, with Mom's handwriting in faded blue marker. "Your dad's things. Open when you're ready." I wasn't ready. I opened it anyway. Inside, a cracked leather wallet, a baseball with my name scribbled in marker, a photo of him holding me as a baby, face half cut off, and a letter, yellowed, folded, smelled like cigarette smoke and old regret. I opened it and felt my whole body go still. "Son, I don't expect you to forgive me. Hell, I don't even expect you to read this. But if you ever do, just know, I left because I was scared of becoming my father, and I thought walking away would save you from me." I read it 3 times. Each word felt like a punch to the gut, not because they hurt, but because they made too much sense. I used to think he left because he didn't care. Turns out, he left because he did. Because he thought his presence would do more damage than his absence. My whole life, I built this story in my head. Deadbeat, coward, ghost. But that letter shattered it. What if he wasn't trying to escape us? What if he was trying to escape the version of himself he was terrified to become? And suddenly, I didn't know if I hated him or missed him. Maybe both. I started calling shelters, VA centers, hospitals. I used a photo from the box. I scanned it and sent it to places I didn't even know existed. Most of them said no. Some didn't answer. A few hung up. But one night, a woman named Sandra picked up. "That picture's a little old," she said. "But yeah, we've got a guy. Keeps to himself, sits by the food truck on 7th, doesn't talk much, Vietnam vet, I think. Been coming by for years. My hands went numb. I thanked her, hung up, and just sat there, staring at nothing. He was alive. He was close, and he didn't even know I'd been looking for him. That night, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I saw him, the same tired eyes, same fear tucked behind the anger, same way of bottling up everything until it turned toxic. I realized I wasn't just trying to find him. I was trying to understand myself. Because if he was a monster, what did that make me? But if he was a broken man, then maybe I still had a shot at healing. I drove to that food truck the next morning, waited in my car for over an hour, kept watching every man who walked by, heart in my throat. And then there he was, older, slower, but him. And this time, I got out of the car. I walked up. He was staring at a napkin, like it had instructions for how to exist. I stood there, quiet. My heart was racing so loud, I could barely hear myself speak, but I said it anyway. "Hey, you look familiar." That's what I said. My voice cracked halfway through. He looked up, slow, like his body didn't move the way it used to. And when our eyes met, I swear, the world just paused. Like time was holding its breath. For a second, he didn't recognize me. His eyes squinted, then softened, like he saw something he didn't know how to name. And then he said, "I get that a lot, son." "No," I said. "You don't. Not like this." I saw it hit him, right in the center of his chest, like he'd just remembered something he never wanted to face. He blinked, twice. "No," he whispered. "No, no, I'm not dreaming right now, am I?" I shook my head. "It's me," I said. "I'm the kid you left at 7. He dropped the coffee cup, didn't even notice. Hands started to shake. "I never thought," he mumbled. "Jesus Christ, you look just like your mom." I didn't know what to say. I had 25 years worth of questions, and all I could get out was, "Why?" And that's when it happened. He looked down and started crying, not loud, not dramatic, just silent tears, like his body didn't have the strength to sob anymore, only enough left to leak pain. "I didn't leave because I stopped loving you," he said. "I left because I was scared of what I'd become." He told me about his dad, how he'd beat him, how he used to lock him in a shed for hours if he cried, how love felt like a trap, and silence was survival. "I saw it in myself," he said. "That same rage, that same darkness. I couldn't control it sometimes. And one night, I almost yelled at you, like really yelled." He paused, and I saw my father in me, and it scared the hell out of me. All my life, I thought I was abandoned. Turns out, I was protected by a man who didn't know how to stay without hurting me. That's a special kind of heartbreak, realizing the person who broke you was trying to save you. We sat in a diner that afternoon, corner booth, still smelled like cigarette smoke and black coffee. He barely touched his food, kept stealing glances at me, like he still wasn't sure I was real. "I used to keep a picture of you in my shoe," he said. "Walked with you every day, wore a hole right through it." I smiled, then I cried. I didn't mean to. I'd held it in for decades, but something about seeing him, not as a villain, but as a man who'd lived with guilt like a backpack full of bricks, just broke me. "I hated you," I said. He nodded, didn't flinch. "I know, but I missed you more." That's when he reached across the table. His hand was shaking, but he put it on mine. First time in 25 years, I'd felt that touch. And in that moment, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty, but it was real. It was something. And for the first time since I was 7, I wasn't carrying all of it alone. I didn't forgive him all at once. Forgiveness isn't a light switch. But that day, I took the first step, and so did he. 2 broken people, trying to build something new from the wreckage of what should have been. And for the first time in my life, I stopped wondering why he left and started focusing on what we had left. He didn't ask for forgiveness that day, and I didn't offer it. That's not how this works. Real healing doesn't come with a dramatic hug and a cheesy soundtrack. It comes in quiet moments, unspoken gestures, and a choice to show up, even when it's uncomfortable. A week later, I brought him clean clothes, took him to a barber shop. He didn't say much, just kept looking down at the floor. But when the barber spun him around to face the mirror, he stared at his reflection like he hadn't seen himself in years. He whispered, "I look like someone's dad again." I said, "You always did." "Hey, let me ask you something real. Right now, not as a narrator, but just as someone who's lived it. How many people do you still carry pain from? Maybe a parent, maybe someone who left, or maybe someone you left behind. It's okay. You don't have to say it out loud, but I want you to think about this. If they showed up tomorrow, broken, messy, human, would you talk to them? Would you want them to say something they never said before? Or maybe, would you just want to be seen? Finally, if this story feels close to home, you're not alone. I see you. I really do. Over the next few weeks, I helped him get into a VA housing program, took him to meetings. We'd grab coffee and sit in the park without saying much. Some days, he'd open up, talk about dreams he gave up, about how he used to play guitar, but sold it for rent back in '98, about how he used to listen to my voice in his head just to keep going. And some days, he'd just cry. Not big, loud tears, just quiet ones, the kind that slip out when a man runs out of places to bury the past. He met his grandson last fall, little league game, stood at the fence the whole time, didn't say a word. But when my boy hit his first double, he looked at me and whispered, "Guess the kid's got good hands." And I smiled, because that was the first time I ever heard my father be proud. You know what I've learned through all this? Healing doesn't always look like justice. Sometimes it just looks like two people sitting in silence, both finally choosing to stay. If you're carrying pain that hasn't had words yet, maybe this is your sign to start talking, to write the letter, to show up, to forgive, or ask for it. Because life's too short to let silence be your legacy. I don't know what'll happen in the years ahead. I don't know if we'll ever feel like a normal father and son, but I do know this: he's not a ghost anymore. He's not a question mark in the back of my mind. He's here, and every Sunday he sits at my kitchen table with his coffee too hot, his jokes too dry, and his eyes finally meeting mine without flinching. That's enough for me. And if you've ever felt the kind of pain that makes you want to close your heart forever, I hope this story shows you some things are still worth opening back up for. He left when I was 7, but at 32, I found more than just a broken man. I found a reason to believe that some stories don't end in goodbye. They just take a long, messy, beautiful road to finally say, I'm here.